What's happening? Landlord from Alabama here, back with another video. And today, man, we want to talk about your Dallas Cowboys and, did they get better after the 2022 NFL draft? And, the short answer, in my opinion, is yes. I feel like we got a lot better with the addition of Tyler Smith and D. Williams, Jake Ferguson, and, Jalen Tolbert. I feel like we got a lot better, actually. I feel like this is going to be one of the more underrated drafts that we done had in a while. I know in comparison, when you look at our division rivals like the Eagles and, the Giants and the Commanders, it might seem like we wasn't as flashy or we wasn't as impactful into helping our team get to the next level, but that was because those teams were just absolutely garbage last year and the Cowboys was like miles ahead of them. So of course they gonna get better draft picks and they gonna get better players in the draft. So a lot of people trying to say the Cowboys had the worst draft in the division. Of course, when we picking 24 and they picking top 10 two times and top 10, top 15 type picks compared to our 24th pick, because we was an actual good team compared to them last year. And keep in mind that we swept them last year, so even if they got a little more better than we got after the draft, they still playing catch up big time because they're not the type of team that can compete with us still to this day, in my opinion. And I see the Eagles got A.J. Brown, they got Devontae Smith from Alabama last year, and you can have all those weapons if you want to, Miles Sanders, but if you don't have a real quarterback, and in my case, Jalen Hurts is just not the answer. He's good, but he's not good enough. I feel like he's gonna be just good enough to keep them from firing him, but at the same time keep them, in limbo to not really succeed. And that's what I think Jalen Hurts is. There's no shot on him, but I'm a Bama fan. I've been feeling like this from day one. Even at Alabama, I wasn't a huge fan of Jalen Hurts. But the Cowboys did get better, man. I feel like with the addition of Tyler Smith, now we can possibly run. We was really hesitant with the run game last year, and we got an impatient offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore, and he's not waiting around. If the run's not working, he's gonna abort mission. He's gonna jump ship. He's gonna walk the plank. He's gonna get out of that run quick. Like, look at the Tampa Bay game. We ran like 4 times and everything else was just all pass. And that was just a micro look into the future, into what we did for the rest of the season. Mike McCarthy tends to lean towards a West Coast offense, so they're not too big on the run. And West Coast type offenses, they like to do little swing passes and use the short passing game for their running game. But if you look at that San Francisco game, man, them boys was much more physical than us. And some of our players came in saying they was nervous, and which is never a good sign. And Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore and Will McClay realized that this team need to get a lot more tougher. So with an addition like Tyler Smith, maybe we can actually run on the left side. Him and Tyron Smith, the Smith brothers. Maybe we can do some runs on the left side and actually be productive. San Francisco was basically daring us to run. They was dropping like 7 back in coverage and just daring us to run, and we still was ineffective with the run game. Some of that is due to the offensive line, of course, with the ineffectiveness of Connor Williams and really the foolishness of Kellen Moore for not giving Tony Pollard the ball more. So if you look at that, if we can just run when defenses try to force us to, we will be a much better offense all around, because they was just sitting back in coverage just waiting on Dak. And you know what kind of quarterback Dak is. Dak really not trying to force the ball. Dak is really trying to find the open man. If the coverage just sitting back there waiting on Dak, Dak more than likely gonna check the ball down or either just throw a little 5-yard comeback to the tight end, because he's just a safe-minded, careful with the football type quarterback. He's not the gunslinger like Romo was. thankfully. Like, I like Romo, but he was dangerous. But we will get better with Tyler Smith. He's much stronger than Connor Williams was, so that'll be a much more effective running game, and hopefully he can help with the passing and minimize all those penalties that Connor Williams was getting. Now, you look at the addition of D. Williams, which he like to be called. Even though his name says Sam, he want to be called D. Williams. So when you look at the addition of D. Williams, I feel like he can mold into a dynamic pass rusher. All we need him to do is mimic some of the things we was doing with Randy Gregory. Even though we got Fowler, even though we got Dorrance Armstrong, I feel like those three players coming out the defensive end will be a great rotation instead of just the one Randy Gregory. Maybe we can get some reliability from those three players to give us some sack production on a consistent basis. So I feel good about those three players, man, being in my rotation. And I feel like Fowler might be underrated too. So watch out for him actually having a good year. He used to Dan Quinn. That's his old defensive coordinator. So I think he'll do good under him as well. Then you look at the addition of Jake Ferguson out of Wisconsin. I feel like we were really lacking without the two tight end packages, man, when Blake Jarwin went down. Before he went down, we was like third in the league in rushing, and you know, we stuttered and we was really struggling to run, and really our whole offense kind of suffered from not being able to run those two tight end packages. So I believe that's one of Kellen Moore's biggest things. He like to run. So with a new tight end, with the addition of Jay Ferguson, I believe that's gonna open the offense back up. These defenses can't just depend on the pass or the run. They're going to have to respect both. So they're going to really be neutral. They're not going to be able to drop all those people back there in coverage. They're going to have to respect the run with two tight ends and them 12 packages. So that's what Kellen Moore needs. I feel like that's his bread and butter. I feel like he needs that more than anything to be the greatest offensive coordinator he can be, or be the best version of himself. And last but not least, you look at Jalen Tolbert, man. It looks like the Cowboys are changing their philosophy when it comes to giving those type players a shot, man. He come out of South Alabama, and you know, he was one of the most outstanding players over there. So in the time where Michael Gallup is hurt, until he come back, Jalen Tolbert probably gonna be your number 2 wide receiver. But he gonna have to battle it out with James Washington. So it's gonna be CD, James Washington, and Jalen Tolbert. You know, that might be our starting wide receiver core for like the first 2-3 weeks until Michael Gallup can get back healthy. Unless the Cowboys want to go take a chance on OBJ or Julio Jones or somebody like that, T.Y. Hilton. Those players still available, but I seriously doubt it. I'm not sure if the Cowboys gonna take that type of risk. So that's who we rocking with going into this season, man. And hopefully they just pan out well with a more healthy, more improved Dak, with Kellen Moore being able to actually do what he need to do with the 12 personnel. I feel like we got better, man. So with that being said, just holla at your boy Landlord from Alabama with the same handle on all social media, man. And like I say, 1K, 1 love, Cowboys Nation. Let's go.